Leroy.
Good morning. Are you Leroy McClendon Jr.? Okay, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of trafficking marijuana, it looks like through the airport. I have denied bond on that charge. Do you understand what I mentioned as far as your charge and your bond? Your no bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Let her finish, then she'll ask you if you got questions.
Okay. And so your bond hearing date is being scheduled for September 24th, 2021. And your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for September 20th, 2021. So you will be able to address the issue of bond at that time. And then also before that September 24th date, you'll have a probable cause hearing to see if there's enough probable cause to detain you on this trafficking marijuana charge. I have reviewed your application for a court-appointed counsel. And it looks like you make well beyond the threshold to have an attorney represent you. Do you plan on hiring your own attorney?
I plan on it. I had a question about the bond.
Okay, hang on. Let me make sure I give you all the information. You say you do plan on hiring your own attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What's your question, sir?
That denying bond creates special circumstances for me. I take care of an elderly mother who has dementia. And these past 4 days, I haven't even been in contact with her. I would like to try to bond out to find out where she is and if she's okay.
You may have to just get in touch with some family and friends to help you with that, sir. Unfortunately, that's a issue that's not within this court's realm to handle. So that's something you'll have to figure out. But I'm just, based on this charge and the allegation in the warrantless arrest affidavit, I cannot grant a bond at this time.
Yeah. Will there be a bond possibly before the 24th?
You say you plan on hiring an attorney, is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So if you hire an attorney, your attorney can certainly reach out to the state before September 24th to enter into maybe a consent bond or see if they can resolve something before then. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Norman.
Are you Maurice Norman?
No.
Okay, you've been charged with 1 count of driving under the influence. That bond is $5,000, and 1 count of violating the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. That bond is $2,500. So your total bond amount is $7,500. You also have a special condition, which is to not consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your charges, your bond, and that special condition?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am. Y'all do any 10% down?
I don't know. You have to talk to the bonding company because their percentages vary. So just talk to the bonding companies and they'll tell you how much it will be. I did review your application for a court-appointed attorney. You do qualify to have an attorney represent you. So I am appointing counsel for you. Your court date is the preliminary hearing date, which is scheduled for September 21st, 2021. But that court date will be waived in the event that you bond out. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Norman?
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Next is Mr. Root Mikhail B. John. Malik, my bad. Malik.
Okay, Mr. Malik Root or Route, is that your name, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry if I mispronounced your name. You have been charged with 1 count of trafficking marijuana, looks like through the airport as well. I've denied bond on that offense, but I've scheduled a bond hearing date for you. That's September 24th, 2021. And your preliminary hearing date is September 20th, 2021. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as the bond hearing date, what you've been charged with, and your preliminary hearing date?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Let her finish, then she'll ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
I did review your application for a court-appointed attorney, and you do qualify, so I am appointing an attorney to represent you in these proceedings. What's your question, Mr. Rout?
If I come up with the money to get a lawyer, do you think you could they talk to you or to see if I can get a bond before the 24th?
So the question is yes, that's the short answer. The explanation is I am appointing an attorney to represent you as well. So if you decide to hire your own attorney, that's completely fine. That may be a quicker route for you to go. But yes, when you do hire an attorney, your attorney's goal will probably be to reach out to the prosecutors to see if they can reach an agreement on bond before that date. So yes, you may want to get on the phone, start making some phone calls, see who you can get in touch with and hire. But if you don't hire anyone, we are appointing an attorney to represent you on that date. Understood, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have a good day.
Next is Mr. Stevens Willie E. Jr.
Good morning, sir. Are you Willie E. Stevens Jr.?
Yes.
Okay, you've been charged with one count of terroristic threats. That bond amount is set at $5,000. Do you understand your charge and your bond amount?
Yes,
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
I hope so. If I can make a phone call.
Okay, you do have a condition to the bond, Mr. Stevens. You were to stay away and have no contact with Cassandra Lewis. Do you understand that?
I don't know the woman, so I don't deal with her.
Okay, well, it should be easy for you to have no contact with her then. So I'm leaving that condition in there though. As far as your application for a court-appointed counsel, I have approved your request based on your responses. So an attorney will be appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021. If you bond out, that hearing date will be waived and you'll receive a new one in the mail. You have any questions, Mr. Stevens?
No, ma'am.
All right, you may be excused. Have a good day.
You too.
Next
Thank
is,
you.
next is Mr. Taylor Cyrus Timothy.
Are you Cyrus Taylor, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you've been charged with one count of giving a false name, address, and/or date of birth. That's a misdemeanor offense. Your bond is set at $2,000. Do you understand the charge and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
I'm not sure, ma'am. Honestly.
Okay. I have reviewed your application for a court-appointed counsel. You do qualify to have an attorney represent you. So I am appointing an attorney. You can certainly talk to your attorney about your best options. Your court date is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021. If you do bond out, you'll receive a new notice in the mail with the new court date. If you don't bond out, you'll be brought before the court on September 21st, 2021 to see if there's enough evidence to detain you on these charges. You have any questions for me, sir? Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.
Next, Mr. Wallace Walter Lee.
Good morning. Are you Walter Lee Wallace?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with one count of battery. That bond is $6,000. And then one count of giving a false name. That bond is $1,500. So your total bond amount is $7,500. Do you understand the charges and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think you'll be able to make bond, Mr. Wallace?
Yes, ma'am.
You do have some special conditions, and that is to have no contact with Victor Deshawn Malone. Also, you cannot return to 5758 Highway 85, apartment 19H in Riverdale, Georgia. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as those bond conditions?
Ma'am, that's why I stated, ma'am, the incident when me and the guy was never at that apartment, that address.
Okay, hold on. Let me take a look at something here based on what you said. One moment. Okay, so Mr. Wallace, I did review the paperwork again, and it does indicate that you all are not related. It does not indicate that you all live together at that residence. So I'm gonna remove that condition.
So much.
Okay, so the only condition is to stay away and have no contact with Victor Malone, okay? All right, so I've reviewed your application for a court-appointed attorney, and I am approving your request to have an attorney represent you. Your next court date is your preliminary hearing date, and that is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021. But if you bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Okay, you have any questions for me, sir? All right, have a good day.
Next is Mr. West Lawrence Terrell.
Okay, are you Lawrence West?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. West, you have been charged with one count of cruelty to animals. That is a felony offense. Your bond is set at $3,500. Do you understand the charge and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've reviewed your application for a court-appointed attorney. You do qualify to have an attorney represent you, so I have approved your request. Your next court date, because you are charged with a felony, that date is September 20th, 2021. But if you do bond out, like you believe you'll be able to do so, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. You have any questions for me, Mr. West?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
You're
Next,
welcome.
next is Mr. Wood Frederick James.
Are you Frederick Woods?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. Woods, you've been charged with one count of simple assault. That bond is set at $3,000. Do you understand the charge and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
If I can get to my property here, yes, ma'am.
All right, now I have set special conditions for this bond, and that is to stay away and have no contact with Brittany Rogers. And also you're to not return to 5985 Maddox Road in Morrow, Georgia. It was indicated that I believe that is a shared residence. Is that correct?
Now, Brittany Rogers is not a resident of my address. I'm the leaser. All my truck and my car, all my clothes are there. And that is my address. Brittany Rogers is not a resident of that address.
Well, it does indicate on here that you all have been living together for over a year and a half.
She's not. She's not been there that long. She's not on my lease. Only two people are on my lease. Me and Willie Johnson.
I understand that, Mr. Woods. I'm gonna leave that on here, and that's because in this instance, unlike the other cases, in this instance, the officer did indicate that you all have been living together at that residence for over a year and a half. I'm gonna leave that in there, but you can go back to retrieve any personal belongings that's not in dispute within 10 days of being released. And also you can, let me look at this. I am gonna appoint an attorney to represent you because you qualify based on your responses on your application. Now you can always go back and talk to your lawyer about modifying the bond conditions to make sure that you're able to go back to your residence. You can certainly do that in advance of any court proceeding. But I just want to caution you, if she's there, you can't be there because that's what I've listed on here. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021. But if you do bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. So just make sure we have your updated address. You have any questions for me, Mr. Woods?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm good.
All right, thank you and have a good day.
Good.
Thank you.
Next, I'm gonna bring back up Mr. Ison. You should have his CA form in your email, y'all.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna take a look at it and then I just want to look quickly at his criminal history again. So I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm ready for Mr. I think it's Ison.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, are you a day Ison?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Ison, I want to ask you, do you live in the same household with Stacy Childs?
No, ma'am. I was running from that woman.
Y'all share children together?
No, ma'am. I was actually, I had the children of a friend of mine that I was aiding and assisting. They had got addicted. She came and picked us up. She was questioning the children when I got out the car. And when I came back, she was like, "Oh, you sleeping with that girl," and attacked me. And I jumped out of the car and I told the kids, come with me. And I ran down the street and she started trying to attack me. That's how this incident happened, Mom. I don't live with Stacy. I don't call Stacy. I don't talk to Stacy. Stacy actually be calling, harassing me. I should have a TPO put out on her.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Ison. I just need to complete a couple of things here. Okay, so the warrant indicated that Stacy Childs is your fiance.
No, she's not.
Okay.
We was dating. We was kicking it, you know, but we ain't married. We ain't in no relationship or none of that. She was trying to come back into my life, and it just so happened she called me up and I needed a ride, and I let her give me a ride. And this is how this all this took place. Off of she's questioning some children. Man, it's crazy.
Okay, so you've been charged with one count of battery. That bond is set at $7,000. Hang on, Mr. Ison.
I ain't did
Let her
nothing.
finish.
Mr. Ison, you've been charged with one count of battery. That bond is set at $7,000, and one count of cruelty to children. That bond is set at $3,000. Your total bond amount is $10,000. And as a special condition, you are to stay away and have no contact with Stacy Childs. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your bond amount, sir, and the special condition?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think you'll be able to make bond?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. I hope so.
Okay, because it does indicate here too that you're on, it appears that you're on probation. So your probation officer may choose to violate you as well. I'm not sure, but they will be given an opportunity to have a say-so in this situation. I have reviewed your application for a court-appointed counsel. And you do qualify to have an attorney represent you. So I am going to appoint an attorney, sir, to represent you in these proceedings. Your court date is going to be your preliminary hearing date. And that date is going to be scheduled for September 21st, 2021. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day, sir.
The last one is our future fiance.
Okay. Are you Jaffer Espejo?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sorry if I mispronounced it. I'm so sorry. How do you say your name?
Joffer Espejo. You got it right now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Espejo, your hearing today is going to be a little different from everyone else's hearing. What I mentioned earlier, though, at the onset with the announcement still applies in your case. And so this hearing for you is what is called an extradition hearing. All of the rights that I advise also apply in your case. But I want to tell you specifically, you don't have pending charges here in Clayton County, Georgia. You have been brought to court today because you have charges pending against you in another state, and they are requesting that you return to that state to answer to these charges. Do you already have an attorney representing you in this matter?
In California, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have an attorney in California, but not this particular case,
For the extradition,
correct?
I don't have, ma'am. I cannot
Okay.
for it at this time, ma'am.
Okay, so you were charged with being a fugitive from justice as follows. It says on the warrant list arrest affidavit that you did enter and remain in the state of Georgia, knowing that you are wanted by the San Jose Police Department in California for sexual assault. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to OCGA Title 17, Chapter 13. And as you have heard, it is alleged that you were charged with sexual assault in the state of California by San Jose Police Department. You do have a choice as to whether you wish to contest extradition or waive extradition and be returned to the state of California without going through the formal extradition process. Now, if you decide that you wish to contest extradition, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 25 days. Initial period of 30 days. During that time, a warrant will be prepared under the Georgia governor's signature for your extradition to the other state. Now, the court may consider allowing you to post a bond, but the court is not required to do so to allow bond in your case. And because you are wanted by another state, I am not setting a bond in your case at this time. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to the state of California, you may file what is called a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition. The writ of habeas corpus can only contest 4 things if you want to go that route. The first thing is you can contest whether the extradition documents are in order on their face. The second thing is you can contest whether you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the state of California. The third thing is you can contest whether you are the person that's actually named in the request for the extradition. And the fourth thing is you can contest whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice, but you cannot contest your guilt or innocence in this state. So you are entitled to have the advice of counsel in contesting extradition or in deciding whether to waive extradition. If the state is unable to extradite you within 30 days, meaning if California is not able to extradite you within 30 days, you may still be committed to the Clayton County Jail for an additional 60 days waiting your extradition. If the extradition is not completed within 90 days, at that time, you will be released. Now, do you wish to contest extradition or waive formal extradition and voluntarily return to California to answer to the charge against you?
I would like to voluntarily return to California.
Okay, so you will need to sign several copies of the waiver of extradition form. Correct, the form that you just held up. And so I will sign it. Once I get it, I will sign it. And the department there that handles extraditions will start processing the paperwork. And you'll be remanded back to the custody of the sheriff. So then your extradition proceedings will begin. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So just make sure you sign that paperwork. I'll get it signed and we'll get it back over to you. If there's nothing further, sir, you can be excused and have a good day.
My Honor, I have a question.
Yes.
I was in hiding in the state of Georgia. My wife and I came from Italy because I have an orders to report to San Jose Naval Operations Support Center. It's a reserve unit. On a report date is supposedly August 6th. I got flagged here in Atlanta. I'm supposed to, because I have orders to also report. I'm aware of the warrant of arrest that Santa Clara County has given me. And that's why I was going back to San Jose. I was following all the procedures, all the orders that I was given by my chain of command from Italy, by the Navy, and by the law.
Okay, well, you don't have any charges here in Georgia. So I appreciate that information, but we won't be holding you for anything as far as any criminal charges here. It's only to return you to California so you can answer to those charges. So what you just mentioned to me, make sure your California lawyer knows. And so that way, you know, if California plans on bringing any extra charges, you know, with them having that information that you mentioned, that will probably help your situation. So definitely mention that to your lawyer. You have any other questions?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Do I need a lawyer for this extradition?
Well, I mean, that's a decision you have to make, but you've already mentioned that you want to voluntarily waive, right? And return to California. Yeah, so we're not going to have a hearing. We're done. There's nothing else for us to take care of here except to sign the waiver papers and give it to you and start processing it. So that way you can return back to California.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good day, sir. Best of luck. You're welcome.
Your Honor, that completes the list for today.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.